How did one cruel comparison turn into papers served in a bright lobby while my co-workers watched? I kept telling everyone he was the problem, and I kept saying I was the one holding us together. Why did the legal result hit so fast that my bills became my problem in one morning? My name is Lavinia Harrow, but most people called me Liv because it sounded lighter, like I did not carry anything heavy. I was 33, and I worked in marketing for a logistics company with grey carpet and bright posters about team spirit. I told myself I was the engine in our home. I said I pushed us forward. I said Ethan was lucky I chose him. That morning started like many others. The kitchen light buzzed, the kettle clicked off. Harper sat at the table with her cereal, moving the spoon in slow circles, like she was thinking about something bigger than breakfast. Ethan stood by the counter, making her lunch. He always cut the apple the same way, neat slices, no skin left on the edges. People called that caring. I called it basic. He asked if I could pay the internet bill that day because he was short on time before a job site meeting. I said I would, but I said it with the tone I used at work when someone made a silly request. He looked at me for a second. He asked why I talked to him like he was my employee. I said I was tired, and I said he should not take everything so personally. He asked if we could talk about money later, after Harper went to school. I said there was nothing to talk about, because I had already said yes. Then he said, very calmly, that the bills were not a small thing, and that he wanted a plan. I felt my chest get tight, like he was putting a leash on me. I did not like that feeling. I told him he was acting like a failure. It came out fast. It came out sharp. I heard Harper stop moving her spoon. Ethan did not raise his voice. He asked what I meant. That question annoyed me more than any argument, because it made me sound irrational. I hated being seen as irrational. I wanted the moment to be clean and simple, with me on top. I said I meant he did not think big enough. I said he stayed in the same place while other people climbed. He asked who I was comparing him to. I knew the honest answer. I also knew the power in saying it. I said my boss, Damian. I watched Ethan's face change. It was not dramatic. It was like a window closing. He asked why my boss mattered in our marriage. I said Damian knew how to lead. I said Damian handled pressure. I said Damian did not complain when things got hard. I said I needed that energy around me. I said I deserved it. Ethan asked if I could stop saying Damian's name in our home. I said he was insecure. I said that insecurity was why he stayed small. I told him he could be more if he tried. I made it sound like I was giving him a gift. He said he tried every day. He said he worked long hours. He said he came home and still did school pickup and made dinner when I stayed late. I said that was what a husband was supposed to do. I said I did not clap for basic effort. He asked if I even liked him anymore. I did not answer that directly. I said he was trying to change the subject. I said he always did that when I brought up real problems. He asked what the real problem was. I said the real problem was that I was carrying him. Harper looked between us. She asked if Dad was in trouble. Ethan told her he was not in trouble and that adults were just talking. He said it softly. I wanted to roll my eyes because I thought he was performing good dad in front of her. I told myself I was also protecting her because a weak man could not protect anyone. Ethan said he did not want to fight in front of Harper. He asked if we could pause. That word, pause, made me feel like he was controlling the pace. I did not want him to control anything. So I pushed. I said that if he was not proud to be compared, he should work harder. I said Damian had a clear plan for his life. I said Damian did not need reminders. I said Damian did not get sensitive about words. I said it like I was describing facts, not opinions. Ethan asked if Damian was the reason I stayed late so often. I laughed, because laughing made me feel safe. I said I stayed late because I was ambitious, and because Ethan's paycheck alone would not give Harper the life she deserved. I said it was funny that he wanted to blame my work on a man. He asked if anything was going on with Damian. I said no, and I made my voice flat, like the question was silly. The truth was, Damian did make me feel seen. He told me my ideas were strong. He told me I had presence. He said those words when others just nodded and looked away. He did not touch me in public, and he never said anything crude. It was cleaner than that. It felt like power, and power felt like safety. Ethan took a breath. He said he was not accusing me. He said he was asking for respect. I said, respect follows results, and I had results. I said he should focus on being useful instead of being emotional. He packed Harper's lunch into her bag. He checked her water bottle. He moved around the kitchen like he was following a list in his head. That annoyed me too, because it looked controlled, like he did not need me. I wanted him to need me. I wanted him to react. He asked if I could please stop comparing him to other men. I said I compared him because I wanted him to grow. I said it was love, and he should be thankful. He said love did not feel like being mocked. I said he was twisting my words. I said he was victimizing himself. Harper stood up. She asked if I would drive her today. I said yes, even though I knew I was running late. Ethan offered to drive her. I said no, because I did not want him to look like the steady parent. I wanted that role. I grabbed my phone and my bag. While Ethan wiped the counter, I glanced at his phone on the table. The screen lit up for a second. I saw a calendar reminder with a place name I did not recognize and a time. Riverside, 10:30 a.m. Under it was another event, repeating each week. Meeting, personal. He did not hide the phone, but he turned it face down when he noticed me looking. I said, in a casual voice, that he was suddenly very organized. He asked what I meant. I said nothing, and I smiled like a joke. He did not smile back. In the hallway, Harper struggled with her jacket zipper. Ethan helped her. He asked Harper if she had her library book. She said yes. He asked if she wanted apple slices or grapes tomorrow. She said apple slices. His voice was steady. I told myself it was fake calm. As we moved toward the door, I noticed a folder on the small entry shelf. The label said Utilities. Another folder said Bank. Ethan had never kept folders there before. I told myself it was because he was stressed. I told myself I caused stress because I cared. Ethan walked to the small cabinet by the stairs. He opened it and took out his keys. I heard a soft click, like a lock turning. He had added a lock. He did it quietly, like it was normal. That sound went through me in a strange way, like a warning I did not want to read. I asked what he was locking. He said it was just important papers, and that he was trying to keep things neat. I said he was being dramatic. He asked me not to call him dramatic. I said he should stop acting dramatic then. We stepped outside. The air was cold and clear. Ethan's car was parked at an angle, pointed toward the street instead of the garage like usual. He stood by the porch for a moment, holding Harper's backpack strap so it would not drag. He asked if we could talk tonight after Harper went to bed. I said maybe, if I was not exhausted. He said okay. He did not beg. He did not argue. He just nodded. On the drive to school, Harper asked why Dad looked sad. I said he was not sad. I said he was just tired, and he took things too seriously. Harper stared out the window and did not answer. I told myself the morning was fine. I told myself Ethan needed to hear the truth. I told myself I was helping him. But when I pulled into the school drop-off line, I could still hear that small locked click in my head, like a door closing somewhere I could not see. By the time I reached the office, I had already decided the story I would tell. I told myself I needed people on my side. If they agreed with me, then I could breathe. The elevator smelled like coffee and cheap perfume. I checked my reflection in the metal wall and fixed my smile like a mask. In the open plan area, the lights were too bright. Phones rang, keyboards clicked. I put my bag down and opened my laptop fast, like I was busy and important. Cassidy rolled her chair over. She asked if I was okay because I looked tense. I said Ethan started a fight again. I said he hated that I worked late. I said he did not like my success. Cassidy made a face and said that sounded like control. I nodded like she said something smart, even though I had fed her the words. A coworker named Jules walked by and asked how my perfect man was doing. Jules always joked like that. I did not correct her. I said Ethan was moody lately and acted like I was the enemy. Jules asked what happened. I said he compared our life to other couples and said I should stay home more. That was not what he said, but it sounded better in the air. It made him look small. It made me look like the tired hero. Cassidy asked if I had told Ethan to get help for his insecurity. I said I tried, but he did not listen. I said I did not know how many times a woman could explain respect. I kept my voice calm so I sounded mature. I did not say I had called him a failure that morning. I did not say I used my boss's name like a blade. I left those parts out because the room did not need them. Around 10, Damian called a quick team check-in near the glass meeting room. He stood with his tablet in his hand like he owned the building, even though we all knew he just leased it. He looked at me when I spoke. He nodded like my words mattered. After the meeting, he asked if I could step into his office for a minute. He said he liked the way I handled the new campaign plan. He said I had edge, and it was rare. I said thank you, and I tried to act normal, but my heart moved faster. He asked if things were okay at home because I seemed distracted. I said marriage was hard, and some men struggled with strong women. He smiled in a small way. He said he understood what it meant to outgrow people. I let that sentence sit in the air like a gift. He told me to keep my focus and not let noise hold me back. He said he wanted to see me in a higher role soon. I nodded and said I was ready. When I left his office, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Damian that said he meant what he said about my future. I stared at it too long. Then I locked my screen and walked faster, like moving fast could hide my thoughts. At lunch, I went to the break room with Cassidy and 2 other co-workers. The topic drifted back to relationships because it always did. Someone said men got scared when women earned more. I said that was true, and I said some men tried to make their wives feel guilty for working. Cassidy asked if Ethan ever accused me of cheating. Her tone was playful, like cheating was just a joke people made online. I laughed and said Ethan did not have the confidence to accuse me of anything. I said he just pouted and acted hurt. I said he made everything about himself. The words came easy. They always did when I had an audience. I felt the room lean toward me. I liked that feeling. It made me forget the kitchen click in my head. Then my phone flashed with a notification from the building lobby system. It said, in plain text, that visitor Ethan Harrow was at the front desk. My stomach dropped for a second. I did not show it. I turned the phone face down and said nothing. Cassidy asked who it was. I said it was probably a delivery. A minute later, Jules came in with wide eyes and said my husband was downstairs. She said he looked serious. She asked if everything was okay. I smiled and said Ethan worried too much. I said he liked to check on me, like I was a child. I heard myself and knew I made him sound controlling. I did it on purpose. I told myself it was protection. I told myself he forced me to do it. I walked to the elevator with my lunch still in my hand. When the doors opened in the lobby, Ethan stood near the security desk with a small paper bag. He looked tired, like he had not slept well. He asked if we could talk for a minute. I said I was in the middle of work. He said he just wanted to drop off Harper's missing library card because she forgot it and the school called him. I said he could have texted me. He said he did text, but I did not answer. I checked my phone and saw his message from earlier, sitting under Damian's message. I pretended I did not notice the timing. I said my phone was busy with work notifications. He said, okay. He handed me the bag and asked if we could set a time to talk tonight. 2 people from my office walked into the lobby then. I saw them glance at Ethan, then at me. Ethan followed my eyes and got quiet. He asked if I wanted to talk outside instead. I said no, because outside felt like a private place, and private places were where I could lose control. I wanted the room to see me steady. I said Ethan should stop showing up and making scenes. He blinked, like he did not understand. He said he was not making a scene. He said he just brought the card. I said he could have left it with the desk, and I said he needed to respect my career. One coworker paused near the elevators and listened, pretending not to listen. I lifted my chin and kept my voice calm. Ethan asked if I was embarrassed of him. I said I was embarrassed of his behavior. He said his behavior was bringing a child's school item. I said that was not the point. I said the point was he did not trust me. He asked why I kept saying that. I said because it was true. That was my favorite move. If I repeated something long enough, it became true to everyone else. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and I saw no caller ID on the screen. He did not answer it. He turned the phone over and put it back in his pocket. He looked at the floor for a second, then looked up again. He asked very softly if there was someone else. I said no, and I let a little laugh out, like his question was pathetic. He nodded once. He said he did not want to argue in a lobby. He said he would pick Harper up today, and that he would send me the time. I said I would do pickup because I always did pickup. He looked at me like he knew that was not true. He did not correct me. He just said, okay. When I returned upstairs, Cassidy was waiting by my desk like a guard dog. She asked what Ethan wanted. I said he came to check on me and to accuse me of things again. Cassidy said that was toxic. I sighed and said I knew. Jules asked if I needed help. I said I was fine. I said I had learned to handle difficult men. A few minutes later, my chat window popped up. It was a message from our HR assistant, Maya. She asked if I had a moment for a quick word. Her message was polite, but it felt heavy. I stared at it too long. In the reflection of my black monitor, I could see my own face. It looked confident, but my eyes did not match. I typed back that I could come by in 10 minutes, and my hands shook as I hit send. The HR room was small and too quiet. The walls had motivational posters that looked tired. Maya asked me to sit. She said she was not taking sides, but she said someone had raised a workplace concern. She asked if everything at home was stable. I said yes. I said my husband was just emotional, and he did not like that I had a real career. Maya asked if Ethan had threatened anyone or broken any rules in the building. I said no, because he had not. I said he only showed up to guilt me. Maya said she wanted to note the visit, just in case. She said the company liked clear boundaries. I acted surprised, like Ethan had created the whole situation. I said I understood, and I said I would talk to him. Then I left with my face calm and my stomach tight. I hated the idea that my story might slip out of my control. By the afternoon, the office energy changed. People whispered near the printer. People looked at me for 1 second longer than normal. I told myself they were worried about me. I told myself they admired my strength. I did not let myself consider the other option. Damian walked past my desk around 4. He asked if I was free later because the team was going out. He said we deserved a drink after the project win. I said yes fast. I needed the crowd. I needed something loud. If I stayed home in silence, I might hear my own thoughts. I told Ethan by text that I would be late. I said it was a work thing. He replied and asked what time. I said I did not know. He replied again and asked if I could at least confirm Harper's bedtime plan. I did not answer for a while. When I finally answered, I said he could handle bedtime because he was so good at routine. I added a smile emoji, like it was kind. It was not kind, it was a push. The rooftop bar was on top of a hotel downtown. The elevator opened to music and warm air. People laughed too loud because they wanted to feel important. The city lights looked like they were cheering for us. Cassidy hooked her arm through mine and said this was what success looked like. I agreed. I needed to agree. We found a long table near the railing. Damian stood near the center, talking with his hands. He asked how I was holding up after that stress earlier. I said I was fine. I said I was used to dealing with a sensitive husband. Damian asked if Ethan ever felt proud of me. I said he did, but then I added that pride made him nervous. Damian nodded like he understood everything. A coworker raised a toast to the team. They said Damian was a strong leader. People clapped. Damian smiled and said the team did the real work. Then he looked at me and said my ideas had carried the campaign. I felt heat in my face and I loved it. I told myself it was normal to want praise. I told myself I deserved praise because I worked hard. I did not say that I also wanted to be wanted. Cassidy asked for a group photo. Everyone leaned in. Damian stood behind me because there was no room. His hand did not touch me, but his body was close enough that I could feel the warmth. Cassidy said we looked like a power team. She took 3 pictures and posted one right away. She tagged Damian and tagged me. The caption said we were unstoppable. I saw the tag pop up on my phone. I felt a flash of panic, then I pushed it down. I told myself Ethan should learn not to be so dramatic. I told myself a tag was not a crime. I told myself his feelings were his own problem. Damian asked if I wanted to step to the side for a minute. He said the music was loud, and he wanted to ask about my promotion path. We walked to the smoking patio area, even though neither of us smoked. The air was colder there. The city noise came up like a wave. He said I had more potential than my current title. He said I had the kind of drive that made other people uncomfortable. I said people always tried to pull strong women down. He said that was true, and he asked if Ethan did that. I said Ethan did not mean to, but he could not handle my pace. I said he wanted a simple life. I said I wanted more. Damian said he liked that I wanted more. He said he respected ambition. Then he asked if I ever felt trapped. I said sometimes. I did not say by what. He said he understood. He said a person should not stay stuck in a life that made them smaller. His words slid into me like a soft key into a lock. I told myself it was just advice. Back inside, Cassidy was laughing with 2 other women. She asked where I went. I said Damian wanted to talk about my career. Cassidy said I deserved the promotion and deserved a man who celebrated it. I laughed and said maybe I did. My phone buzzed. It was Ethan. He asked if Harper was asleep yet. I stared at the message. I knew Harper would be wondering where I was. I knew Ethan would be doing the bedtime routine alone again. I told myself he liked being needed. I told myself it was good for him. I typed that I was still at a work thing. He replied and asked if Damian was there. I did not answer that. I typed that he should stop monitoring me. He replied and said he was not monitoring. He was asking because it mattered. I felt irritation rise. I typed that he was being jealous again. Then I put the phone down and turned it face down on the table. A few minutes later, I saw another tag notification. Someone had posted a short video of the toast. In the video, Damian praised me again. People cheered. My name floated in the air like a prize. I watched it twice. Then I watched it a 3rd time and felt something twist, because I knew Ethan would see it too. Cassidy asked if I was okay. I said yes. I said my husband was just trying to ruin my mood. Cassidy said I should not let him. She said I should choose my life. I nodded like she was wise. I was not choosing my life. I was choosing my comfort. I went to the restroom to breathe. The mirror showed my face bright and excited. I looked like the version of me I wanted to be. When I returned, Damian had moved closer to our end of the table. He asked if I wanted another drink. I said no, but I stayed near him anyway. The closeness felt like proof that I mattered. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was a photo from Ethan. It showed Harper's homework sheet on the table and her small hand holding a pencil. Ethan wrote that Harper asked when I would be home. He wrote that she said she missed me. I stared at it. For 1 second, I felt something like guilt. Then I told myself Ethan sent it to manipulate me. I told myself he used Harper as a tool. That story was easier. That story made me the victim again. I typed that I would be home when I could. I added that he should stop putting pressure on me. He replied and said he was not pressuring. He was asking for basic care. I did not answer. When I looked up, I saw a man at the next table holding his phone up, filming the crowd. He panned across our table. I saw the lens pass over Damian and over me. I suddenly imagined the video leaving this rooftop and traveling into places I could not control. My chest tightened. Damian noticed my face and asked what was wrong. I said nothing, and I smiled. I said I was just tired. He nodded and said I worked too hard. Then he said softly that being tired was normal when you carried so much. Later, when we finally left, the hotel elevator felt slower. Cassidy leaned on my shoulder and said I was winning. I said I was. In the lobby, my phone lit up with Ethan's last message. He asked if we could talk tomorrow morning before work. He added that he was serious this time. As I walked to my car, I listened to a short, strange sound from my phone, like a tiny beep I did not remember turning on. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself my life was still under my control. But the air felt different, like a storm was already moving in, and I was pretending not to see the clouds. The family dinner was my idea. I told myself it was a reset. I said we needed witnesses, so Ethan could not twist the story later. I also liked the idea of a room full of people hearing my side first. It felt safer than a private talk in our kitchen. We met at a family restaurant with long wooden tables and soft yellow lights. The kind of place that served big plates and acted like it was home. Marlene arrived early with Brooke. Marlene hugged me tight and asked if I was eating enough. Brooke looked at my face like she was searching for something. She asked if I was okay. I said yes, and I said I was handling it. Ethan came in with Harper. He carried Harper's small jacket over his arm, even though she insisted she could do it herself. He greeted everyone politely. He shook Gary's hand and nodded to Ruth. He sat Harper next to him and helped her with the menu, like he had done it 100 times. He did not look angry. He looked careful. That careful look made me feel provoked. I told myself he was trying to look like the perfect husband in public. I told myself it was a trick. When the server came, Ethan asked Harper what she wanted. Harper said she wanted the pasta with no spice. Ethan said okay, and asked the server for that. Then he asked if anyone wanted to share an appetizer for the table. It was normal. It was also irritating, because normal made him look reasonable. Marlene asked Ethan how work was going. Ethan said it was busy, and that he had a lot of early starts. Marlene said a man should be grateful for a wife who worked hard too. She said I was a driven woman. Ethan said he did respect my work. He said he just wanted respect at home too. His voice was calm. The room shifted slightly, like people leaned in. I jumped in fast. I said Ethan was always asking for respect, like it was a prize. I said he did not realize respect had to be earned. Ruth looked at me and asked what I meant by earned. I said I meant results. I said I had results and Ethan did not. Brooke's eyes widened. She asked me to slow down. I said I was just being honest. I said everyone acted like honesty was cruel, but it was not. I said I was tired of pretending. Ethan asked if we could not do this at dinner. I said he was the one who brought it up by saying he wanted respect. He said he only said it because Marlene asked about work, and he was trying to speak like an adult. I said he always tried to look mature when other people were watching. I said it was his favorite mask. Gary cleared his throat. He said this was not a good topic for the table. He said Harper was right there. I said Harper heard worse at school and she would be fine. Harper looked down at her hands. Ethan gently moved Harper's water glass closer so she would not spill it. He did not comment on my words. That silence made me angry. Cassidy was not there, but I heard her voice in my head. I imagined her saying I should not back down. I imagined her saying if I gave Ethan an inch, he would take my whole life. The server brought bread. Ethan tore a piece and offered it to Harper. Harper said she did not want it. Ethan asked if she was okay. Harper said she was fine, but her voice sounded small. Then she asked why we were acting weird. She asked why Dad did not laugh anymore. The table went quiet. Even Marlene stopped mid-sentence. I felt heat in my face. I wanted to blame Ethan for that moment. I wanted to say he caused it. Ethan looked at Harper and said, adults sometimes had stress, but it was not her job to fix it. He said she was loved. He said she could just eat her pasta and be a kid. Ruth nodded at him. She told Harper that her dad loved her very much. Then Ruth looked at me and asked if I loved Ethan. She did not ask in a sweet way. She asked like she wanted a direct answer. I smiled, because smiling helped me hide panic. I said, love was not the only thing that mattered. I said, partnership mattered. I said, growth mattered. I said some people got stuck and then expected everyone else to shrink with them. I did not say Ethan's name, but it was clear. Ethan asked what I wanted from him. He said he wanted to understand. He said he was willing to talk privately. I said I wanted him to stop embarrassing me. I said I wanted him to stop acting jealous when I worked. I said I wanted him to stop making my job feel like a crime. Brooke said my job was not a crime, but my words were harsh. She said Ethan did not deserve to be talked about like he was a child. I stared at her. I asked why she was defending him. Brooke said she was not defending him. She said she was defending reality. Marlene snapped at Brooke and said, Brooke always tried to be the moral one. Marlene said I carried the home, and I had every right to be frustrated. Gary told Marlene to lower her voice. Marlene said she would not lower her voice in front of people who judged her daughter. I watched the split grow, and it made me feel strangely strong, like I could move people like pieces. Ethan did not raise his voice. He asked Marlene not to speak for him. He said he could speak for himself. Marlene said he was too sensitive, and that sensitivity was why he struggled. Ethan looked at her and said he did not struggle with work. He said he struggled with being mocked in his own home. I leaned forward and said he was not mocked. I said he just could not handle feedback. I said my boss gave feedback all day and nobody cried about it. The second I said my boss, I felt the air change again. Ruth's eyes sharpened. Gary glanced at Ethan. Brooke looked down at her plate like she did not want to be there. Ethan asked why I kept bringing up my boss. I said because my boss was a real leader. I said, real leaders did not get defensive. Ethan asked if my boss knew I talked about him like this at dinner. I said my boss would understand because he respected ambition. Ruth asked if my boss was too involved in my life. I said Ruth was overreacting. Harper started to pick at her napkin. Ethan asked if she wanted to go to the restroom and wash her hands. Harper nodded fast. He took her gently and walked away. He did not storm off. He did not slam anything. He just removed the child from the mess. When he was gone, Marlene leaned toward me and said I should not let Ruth make me feel bad. She said Ethan's mother was trying to control the narrative. Brooke whispered that I was making my own narrative worse. I told Brooke she always chose the wrong side. Brooke said it was not sides. It was right and wrong. I stared at my plate and felt something cold in my stomach. I still believed I was right, but I also felt the room was slipping away from me. The witnesses I wanted were not staying on my side the way I planned. Ethan returned with Harper. He sat down and asked if we could change the topic. He asked if we could talk about Harper's school play instead. I said sure, and I made my voice sweet. I asked Harper what role she wanted. Harper said she wanted to be a tree because trees did not have to talk. Everyone laughed a little, but it was a tight laugh. Ethan stroked Harper's hair once and then pulled his hand back, like he remembered we were all watching. He checked his phone under the table. I saw the screen light up and then go dark. I caught a glimpse of a message thread title that said, "Follow up." He tilted the phone away when he noticed my eyes. On the drive home, Ethan was quiet. Harper fell asleep in the back seat. I asked Ethan if he enjoyed making me look bad. He asked why I thought that. I said because he played calm and kind while I looked like the villain. He said he did not want me to look like anything. He said he wanted peace. At home, Ethan carried Harper to bed. He laid her down and tucked the blanket around her shoulders. Then he went to the kitchen and wiped the counter again, like the restaurant never happened. I stood in the doorway and watched him. The silence felt like a wall. Later that night, when I walked past the hallway cabinet, I smelled a faint toner smell, like a printer had been running somewhere. I told myself it was nothing, but my hand still tightened around my phone, as if it could protect me. The next week did not feel like a week. It felt like a long hallway with doors closing one by one. I kept telling myself Ethan would cool down. I kept telling myself he would come back to normal. I did not want to think about what normal really meant, because normal had been me leaning on him and calling it partnership. On Monday morning, Ethan woke up before me. I heard the shower. I heard the closet door open and close. When I came into the kitchen, he already had Harper's breakfast ready. He did not greet me the way he used to. He asked Harper about her spelling test. He asked if she wanted apple slices again. Harper nodded without looking up. I asked Ethan if we were going to talk. He said we could talk after work. I said I had a late meeting. He said, okay. He did not argue. He only said that Harper needed a clear plan, and he would do pickup. I said I always did pickup. He looked at me for a second and said we would follow the schedule that worked best for Harper. He said it like a teacher. That tone made me angry. I said he was acting cold on purpose to punish me. He asked why I thought everything was about punishment. I said because that was what people did when they lost control. He did not respond. He just rinsed Harper's bowl and set it in the sink. At work, I told Cassidy that Ethan was withholding affection to manipulate me. I said he was trying to make me beg. Cassidy said I should never beg. She said I should make him feel replaceable. I liked that advice because it let me avoid shame. Damian sent me a message around lunch asking if I was okay. He said I seemed stressed lately. I said my husband was acting unstable and dramatic. Damian replied that some men could not handle women with options. I stared at that word, options, like it was a warm light. That evening, I came home late on purpose. I told myself it was to teach Ethan that my time mattered. The house was too quiet. Harper was already in bed. The living room lights were off. Ethan was at the kitchen table with a notebook and a laptop open. He was not watching TV. He was not scrolling. He was typing slowly, like each word mattered. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing household things. I laughed and said he never cared about organizing before. He said he cared now. I asked why. He said because things had to be clear. He did not explain more. I walked past him and saw a spreadsheet on his screen. I could not see the title. I could only see rows and columns and numbers. I said he was being obsessive. He said he was being careful. I told him careful was just another word for paranoid. He did not react. He saved the file and closed the laptop. He asked if I would sit for 10 minutes. I said I was tired. He said he would keep it short. I sat, but I sat like I was doing him a favor. He asked if I was seeing Damian. I said no. He asked if I would say it clearly. I said it clearly. He asked if I would let him see my phone. I laughed and said he was not my father. I said only insecure men asked for phones. He said he was not trying to control me. He said he was trying to understand reality. I told him he did not deserve reality if he could not handle it. He looked down at his hands, then back up. He said he would not argue. He said he would not yell. He said he would not beg. He said he only needed to know one thing. Did I want this marriage to continue? I felt a flash of fear because it sounded like a door opening that might not open again. I said of course I wanted the marriage, but I wanted a better version of it. I said he needed to step up. I said he needed to stop being jealous. I said he needed to stop embarrassing me at work. He asked how he embarrassed me. I said by existing near my office like a sad man. He flinched, just a little. Then he nodded. He stood up and opened the hallway cabinet by the stairs. I heard that lock click again. He took out a small folder and put it back quickly, like he was checking something. I asked what he was doing. He said he was making sure important papers were safe. He said it in the same calm tone he used with Harper. The next day, the first bill hit. It was the electric payment reminder. I ignored it. Ethan usually handled it. Then, the water bill reminder came. Then, a credit card minimum payment notification came. I felt irritation first, not panic. I told myself Ethan was trying to scare me. I told myself he would pay at the last second, like always. On Wednesday, I stopped at the supermarket after work. I put groceries in the cart like normal. I added extra items because I was annoyed and I wanted comfort. At checkout, I tapped my card. The machine beeped and displayed a message. The cashier tried again. Same message. She asked if I had another method. People in line stared. My face burned. I told the cashier it was a system issue. I tried my other card. It declined too. I laughed lightly and said my bank always did weird things. Then I left the cart there and walked out, holding only my purse, like I meant to do that. In my car, I opened my banking app. The main account looked different. My balance looked smaller. A transfer line sat there like a quiet insult. I saw a note in the transactions that said, "Reroute payroll." I stared at it and felt my throat tighten. I drove to an ATM and tried to pull cash. The screen flashed an error message. I tried again. The same. I slammed my hand on the steering wheel once, then stopped because I did not want anyone to see. I called Ethan. He did not answer. I called again. Still nothing. I texted him that my cards were not working and that he needed to fix it. He replied after a while. He said the accounts were separated now. He said he had moved his income to a different account. He said he would still cover Harper's needs directly. He said I would need to cover my own spending. I wrote back that he was abandoning us. He replied that he was not abandoning Harper. He said he was protecting the household. I told him he was cruel. He replied that cruelty was what I called boundaries. That night, he came home and did not go to the couch. He went to the guest room and closed the door. I stood in the hallway and listened. No sounds, just silence. On Thursday morning, Harper asked why Dad slept in the other room. I said Dad was being dramatic. Harper asked if it was her fault. I felt a sharp pain in my chest for a second. I told her no, and I told her adults had problems. Harper said she wanted everyone to eat together again. I said we would, soon, like a promise I did not know how to keep. That afternoon, Ethan did not go to work. I found out because a union friend of his called me by accident, thinking I was him. The friend asked if Ethan was okay, and said the resignation was sudden. My stomach dropped. Ethan had quit. When I confronted him that night, he did not deny it. He said the work environment had become unsafe for him emotionally because of gossip and public attention. He said he would not stay where he was treated like a joke. I laughed and said he was weak. He said he was done being a target. I said he could not quit without talking to me. He said he did talk to me for months, and I did not listen. I said he was ruining us. He said we were already ruined. On Friday, he packed a bag. Not a dramatic bag, a practical bag. He folded shirts. He took his toiletries. He took his documents from the locked cabinet. He did not take the TV. He did not take furniture. He moved like a person who had decided something long ago. I blocked the doorway and asked where he was going. He said he had arranged a place nearby so Harper's routine would not break. He said he would still do school pickup on his days. I asked what days. He said we would follow a schedule. I said he could not make a schedule without me agreeing. He said he would handle it properly. That word, properly, landed like a stone. I tried to laugh it off. I said he was being dramatic again. He looked at me and said, in the calmest voice I had ever heard from him, that he was done arguing in circles. He said he would do everything the right way from now on. Then he walked past me, picked up Harper's backpack from the hook, and left the house without slamming the door. At noon, I walked into my office tower lobby and saw Ethan near the security desk. A process server stepped close and handed me a packet. He said I was served. I tried to laugh and told the guard it was a misunderstanding, but my hand shook. Ethan said he had done it properly and that he would not argue anymore. In the courthouse lobby, the clerk explained temporary orders, separate accounts, a parenting schedule starting today, and a rule to stop public posts about him. Damian texted to ask what happened. I had no answer. Bills were mine alone.